But yeah, was it John that mentioned I'm optimistic that we're going to win this game? Like that's pretty bold. Knowing that Darwin Quintero is most likely not going to be in the starting 11, and we're without Calvo.
Right.
I had seen enough out of Boxall to maybe think, okay, we can survive a game without Calvo, but
what's even better is the last time we played in Dallas, we lost 2-0.
Yeah.
So I had little faith that we were going to do anything, and sure enough, we did nothing. I think what's worse, actually, is that Boxall was part of the problem, really? Which maybe Tony likes because he always seems to hate on Boxall.
I don't hate on Boxall that much.
Earlier this season,
the defenders and all year. I kind of laid off at defenders. The rest of the year.
I'll tell you what. I mean, he's a New Zealand national, correct? I mean,
yes.
I'll tell you what. He's starting to grow on me. I think there's some significant potential there. He's got the size.
Yeah.
I think there's.
How old is he though?
I could look that up. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
I would guess he's 30. 30. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
This is my issue though, with a guy who's 30. Or you're saying there's potential. He's 30. Okay? So what's his potential?
I'm saying there's potential because we, coming in, we didn't know a lot about him. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not following New Zealand soccer, but he came into he's, a new MLSer, I guess I would say, if that's a word. But I just think there's potential.
Yeah, so I think we need to talk about something about the state of Texas. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to repeat something about this game that we mentioned about the U.S. Open Cup against Houston. Yep. We were lethargic.
Yep.
We looked lazy.
Yep.
We just looked tired.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we played 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes no sense. Kendra was on the broadcast, and, honestly, I think she's one of the best commentators we have.
She's good.
In all of sports, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
But she kept saying, they look like maybe they're a little off their game with the 2-hour delay?
Yeah, 2 hours, yeah.
And I was like, but Dallas had the 2-hour delay too. I mean, I just don't. It's like, I get it, we traveled, but we were here already. So it's like we had the same issues, we had the same delays, we had the same fitness issues. We all got on the pitch at the exact same time for warm-ups. I'm sorry, but we looked lethargic, lazy, slow, tired. There was absolutely no energy to our play at all. And Kendra mentioned this about Miguel Ibarra, with the fact that she's going a little bit faster.
She's coming back again. We're not buying any ice cream right now. Thank you. Go ahead.
And Kendra mentioned this as well with Miguel Ibarra about how he just doesn't quite look on his game for the last few matches.
Yeah.
Which I could probably maybe make an assumption about that, considering what happened a couple matches ago. So, it's just one of those things. It's a constant reminder that we aren't quite there.
I think it's Texas.
Well, yeah,
and it could be the state.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Texas.
Texas.
It's so hot. It's so hot. The heat. My God, the heat.
Milk was a bad choice.
The humidity.
Yeah, they said the on-field.
It's not the heat. It's the humidity.
They said the on-field was 100. Or no, that's not true. The air was 101 at kickoff, but then of course the storm happened.
Yeah.
So the temperature after all the delay was still like 80.
Yeah.
So they just had this massive storm roll through, and they dropped 20 degrees, and it's still 80.
I think it's Texas.
It could be.
Dave, remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the Twins versus the Yankees?
Yes.
We could never freaking beat the Yankees. And it was like New York, and we still can't.
We still can't. So it's just...
Yeah. It's like a New York thing. It's like the Twins just can't do it. And I get this feeling this year with the Loons, it's a Texas thing.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, because you don't know how these things work. It seems like a coincidence, but how can it be? Like with the Twins, we won't talk about the Twins too long, but I do want to say that's an excellent point. The Twins. Now we're going back almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Where they just can't get over that hump. And you've had different teams. It's not like it's the same team or the same core year after year. No. We're talking about generations, of players, that is. 2 decades.
That's right.
But it's the same result every time. It almost doesn't, even when the Yankees are on their down year, the Twins just cannot win there.
It's a mindset.
Or against the team in general.
Yeah, it's a mindset.
Yes.
And this feeling with the Loons this year, now that we've had a couple bad games down in Texas, I get this feeling the Loons, they go to Texas and all of a sudden they just are down. Like they just feel like they can't compete down there,
Right, because it's not like they're taking the game lightly. They know how important this game is.
Exactly.
If they want to maintain a hope.
And add to it the fact you don't have Calvo, you don't have Warner, you don't have Darwin, okay? You lost 3 guys for last night's game. So guess what?
And you don't have Christian Ramirez.
Yeah,
whoa. I thought we decided as a podcast we were never going to mention that name ever again.
Christian Ramirez?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm joking.
I did listen to you guys'
joking.
You guys did the little podcast last week after the whole drafting, or after the whole trades and all that stuff. I did listen to that. It was great. Ramirez, I think the problem you're seeing with Ibarra right now have a little bit to do with Christian not being good anymore.
Before we move on, can I just say this for most of our listeners? I think they can agree. I just really miss Christian Ramirez so much.
Jesus.
I miss him so much, and I can't. I lost my head. Like he scored 2 goals this week for the LAFC. Like, why did we trade him? I miss him so much. All right, I just had to say that.
And so
I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but
after the break, I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, perfect.
But let's right before the break, let's go through this.
Yeah, let's
this
get
game
through the
against
Dallas game.
Look, I mentioned in my notes the 36th minute. There was a segment where we had 4 easy giveaways by Ibsen, Schuler, and Martin. It was literally there was a giveaway. They got the possession back. We got the possession back. There's a giveaway. They have the possession. We get the possession back. It's a giveaway, and it did that within a matter of 30 seconds. And to me, it's just. It goes back to the LA game. There are mental mistakes that our team cannot, for the life of them, get over, and it will also play into my comments on Ramirez after the break. The midfield is a mess. It is a complete and utter mess, and it's affecting the offense. It's affecting the defense. When you look at Figueroa's first goal, or his goal, the first goal of FC Dallas, it was a build-up that led into a set piece, and that build-up was caused by the midfield. The set piece, it's complete and utter fluke. Boxall, for the love of God, don't head the ball towards your own net. Because we had an offside call that was VAR'd. It was correctly called back as a goal because guess what? Boxall was the guy that headed it into the net, who thankfully Bobby saved, but he saved it directly to Figueroa's feet, and he was offside, but he wasn't offside because Boxall was the last guy to hit it.
Yeah.
Okay, so poor preparation for the podcast. I, like Tony, did not get to watch the match. I had to follow it on my phone because I was in the middle of the Mississippi River.
And I love it because I can literally say anything I want.
Well,
and
that's why you're our go-to guy for this game. But I just want to ask. So it was. Am I correct? Was it 1-0 at halftime?
Correct.
And so was there? What was your thoughts at going into halftime? Was there a chance that you know what? We're down. We usually are down early. But did you have any hope that maybe the Loons had a chance to get a point?
I was, going into the second half, I thought, we get paying off early, and, we make some adjustments, and we've got a really good chance of getting a 1-1.
Yeah.
I wanted to draw from this game. Yeah, I had no feelings that we wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay. Your feeling at half at 1-0, though, is we are in Dallas, in Texas. Is there a chance we're coming back? Absolutely not.
Well, yeah, definitely.
No.
But I think for me, I was I was a little bit more optimistic at that point because I was like, well, we got out of that half with just a goal.
And like I said, I was following on my phone, and if I give you the numbers, I told you what the numbers were for the LA Galaxy. Possession in favor of LA Galaxy, roughly 60-40. Shots, roughly 20-10.
Yeah.
And then if I tell you the shots from the stats from last night, it was 59-41, shots 16-7. Yes, they still favor Dallas, but they're not as lopsided.
Right.
Yet somehow the Loons managed to get a 2-2 draw.
And I think the first half, if I remember correctly, the possession was 64-36 in favor of Dallas.
So it came back in the second half. It got closer to the mean, the average, than the one. So
I felt relatively optimistic. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was. Yeah, we're going to get a point.
And then, but then that must have changed quickly because Dallas's second goal came relatively early in the second half, didn't it?
And honestly, we couldn't put any possession together. It was a lot of that. Ibsen, Martin, Schuler just can't hold the possession.
Yeah.
I thought in terms of defense, the back line was solid. I thought Miller was good. Mears was sketchy. Boxall and Kalman were holding their own. Obviously, Bobby had a number of decent saves.
Yeah.
But again, it came down to our issues with the midfield. And Barrios' goal, there was zero pressure. Absolutely no pressure whatsoever on that goal. And it started with Ibsen. Ibsen didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. He runs up past him, and now it's up to Boxall and Mears. And Boxall, for whatever reason, didn't try to close him down. And Mears decided, I'm going to kind of watch the guy out on the flank, which we talked about this with Miller.
Yep.
And on top of that, with Mears dropping off and sliding towards the end line, to cover that flank, he actually allowed Urruti, who was coming into the box, to stay onside.
Yeah.
So it was just like this mess of crap that no one came up to pressure Barrios, and Barrios had a wide open 20-yard shot. Really, it was a fantastic shot.
Yeah. And you mentioned Boxall, just for those people that were just on the edge of the seat. That we referenced Boxall, he is 30 years old. Yeah, I had to bring that in.
I guess.
So, Tony, you were right. Good guess. And, you're right. He's kind of middle-aged at best as far as a soccer player is concerned.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like when the guy's...
But he's an MLS rookie.
Yeah, when the guy's into soccer, though, at the age of 30, you are what you are.
Right.
You're not going to make a big jump after the age of 30. If he was 24, I'd say, hey... Yeah, there might be some potential there. But at 30, he is what he is.
Yeah.
So what he's doing right now is what we're going to get.
Yeah. And so, another negative for this game, Rodriguez, again, didn't get a goal.
Yeah.
It makes it look worse with Ramirez having gotten goals against Real Salt Lake during the week. I saw somebody on Twitter, Jeff Reuter does this 8-word reaction.
Yeah.
And somebody's reaction was, this is paraphrasing because I don't think it's 8 words. Angelo, now you know how hard Ramirez's job was.
Yeah.
And that plays into what I'm going to talk about at the after the break as well. The reality is we had an opportunity to take point. It was probably this one and next week are probably the least likely times we're going to get points on the road. Mm-hmm. So, am I terribly upset? No. But, how we played was just a pain.
And that's actually that you brought that up. That's talking about Rodriguez specifically. Watching the LAFC game, the LA Galaxy game, he looked good. He didn't score a goal, but he looked good. Really good. Can you say the same thing about his performance versus Dallas?
No, probably not. No. If I were to give him scores like 1 to 10, LA, I thought he was an 8.5. Last night I think he was probably a 6 or 7. But it depends on. He was he was fresher looking than a lot of the rest of the squad was. But I think